Hello, welcome to Accessorize Your Life. I'm Julia, and I'm hoping that your summer is going very well and that you're enjoying your makeup that you've chosen for the month of July, and you're ready to choose something for August. I know I am. We just finished a week of lovely weather. In the mornings we were at between 40 and 60 degrees. The nights was just as nice, and the daytime highs some days in the 70s and some days in the mid-high 80s. But the thing is that there was no humidity. The skies were beautiful. It was just lovely. But now this weekend we're slowly creeping up in our temperatures and in the humidity. So, here we go again. But what can you expect from summer? So I am ready to show you, review what I used for the month of July. Here's my cadoodle, and let's get right into it. I used several primers for my face, and the only one that I have to say that I'm willing to return is the Believe Beauty Pretty and Primed. It just gave me a shine throughout the day that I was not happy with. I think this is better suited for my skin to use in the winter. I think it did a good job with holding the makeup but not giving me a nice matte look. So it's going back. The e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer I am going to keep in my drawer. It did really well. I cannot say that it's an actual spackle, but it was pretty good. I really enjoyed using it, and so everything else is staying here. I am going to continue with the Clinique All About the Eyes. The Becca primer is going to stay, and the Neutrogena, which is a hydrator, is going to stay, and the Murad Oil Control Mattifier, which I use as a primer, is going to stay because it has SPF of 15 in it. As for eye primers, I am going to put away the MAC Painterly, and it's okay, but I'm just going to give it a little rest. So I will return it. I am going to keep in my drawer the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer portion. It's all right. And the Second Love glitter primer, because I don't know what eyeshadows I'm going to pull, so I may need that, so it'll stay. On to concealers. I think I pulled 2 LA Girl Pro concealers, one in orange and one in fawn. I pulled one Shop for One Click Cover Concealer by Absolute. That was in a deep neutral color. And I pulled shopped for a Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. The Trish McEvoy was a little too light for this time of the year, so definitely didn't use that much. The Absolute was quite good. I like it. I always like their formula. But I'm going to put it back and get another one out. These two are good. I don't mind them at all. They're a little heavier than the Absolute, but I'm going to put them away and look. I have one that's in red, so I want to try the red concealer for the month of August. So, returning those. As for mascara, I should be getting rid of this by Benefit They're Real, but it does not irritate my eyes, has not given me any problems at all, even though I've had it in here for well over 3 months, I'm sure. But it's still product in here, and I'm going to use it. As for my brows, I pull the Believe Beauty Brow Defining Pencil in Ash Brown, and I am returning it because it does not give me a fine line. It's no matter how well I sharpen it, it's just too soft of a product, and it ends up being kind of smudgy and fat lines. So I'm returning that for now. I am also returning the Benefit Ka-Brow pencil, little pot brow maker here. Oh gosh, I'm getting tired. But anyway, forgive me. I'm returning this because the not the spoolie, but the brush on the end is kind of frayed, which I need to clip it, and the product is getting a little dry. It's in number 5, but I'm ready to return it and use something else. I am going to keep the Believe Beauty eyebrow primer or styling gel in my drawer because I really like it. It's clear and it does what it should do. I am going to return both eyeliners by Marc Jacobs, the brown and the black. I like them very much. What can I say about them? Once you get them on and you get it into the position you want, they're fine. I find that when I'm using it, I have to keep clicking the product up because every time it seems to wear down. So it may be a little soft in it, in its formulation. I just have to keep twisting to get the product up. It never seems to be enough there for me to work with. So I'm returning that. And now we can move on to powders. I have several here, and I want to return right off the bat the Black Up to a Cake by Paris. I really like this, but I think I'll just save this for the fall of the year or into the winter. It's really nice though. I'm going to keep these two, the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder in Medium Deep, and I'm going to keep my concoction of Black Radiance and Jane Iredale there. So I'll pull something else later, and I think I better hold on to the Bare Minerals Invisible Light. This is a translucent powder duo. You get a glow and you get a matte, and I think it helped me a lot when I used a primer that was a little too shiny on me. It helped tone everything down. So I don't know what I'll be pulling for August or shopping for, so I want to make sure that I have something like this in case I need it. So it's staying. Now on to foundations. Here we are here. I will be returning, I've decided, the Clinique Stay Matte Oil Free. I think it's a great formula. I think the color's good, but I used it quite a bit this month, so I'm going to return it. I think I will hold on to the Juvia's Place. It's just kind of dear to my heart for some reason. I just like it. I think it's because it's a really good matte formulation for me. So that will stay. And I was hemming and humming about this CC Plus Oil-Free Matte Poreless Finish with SPF 40 in it. It has UVA and UVB broad spectrum physical sunscreen. Just because of that SPF 40, I'm going to keep it. I don't think it's a good shade for me during the summer months, but that SPF 40, you can't beat it. I need to keep that in my supply. There. So that's it from this drawer, my foundations and my base, what I am going to keep, what I'm returning into my cadoodle. So next I'll move into the fun things, the eyeshadow palettes, the lipsticks, and the face palettes with the blushes. Yay for those. Okay, we're moving into the eyeshadow palettes. First one I'm pulling up is Too Faced Tickle Peach. It was a pretty good palette. I got something smeared on there. Wipe it off. It was a perfect spring-summer palette, in my opinion. I like it because it's small. I'm definitely into the little mini palettes. It had the perfect colors that you want to wear for this time of the year. The purple there, those frosty looking or shimmery looking coppery peaches and goldy colors there. I thought it was very nice. The formula is very nice as well. However, I am going to be returning this to my stash. A palette that I didn't use too much of. I bought it on a whim for the 4th of July. I like that lime yellow there and that apricot color there. But I ended up using it mostly for this gray here. It really helped with the Zodiac palette, just to ground it. So I will be returning it. It has its little yellow marker on it, but I'm glad I bought it. I highly recommend it. The colors are good. The formulation is good. Nice palette, and I love the colors. I also used the Milani Pure Passion. Now this was my neutral palette, and I have to say it didn't work out that well for me as a neutral palette. I think it just was a little too warm, meaning the colors were definitely autumn colors. So it's something you definitely want to, in my opinion, use during the fall of the year or winter. Very pretty colors, but just wasn't the look I was really going for at this time. I thought it would work because of the kind of coppery kind of, I just thought it would work. It kind of reminds me of summer in some ways, but it just didn't work for me. It was just a little too warm for me. And as you know, I pulled and focused on the Zodiac Cancer palette, and it is a lovely palette. It is definitely full of moody moonchild colors. They range from blue to apricot to brown, and there is a black in there. I did get several looks with it. I do think it is a great palette for the evening. It can work from dawn to dusk, definitely. I just think it just has a bunch of formulas in there, like the shiny things, the sparkly things that I just don't normally tend to wear as much. I mean, you really have to put the glitter primer down on your eyelids to get this formulation to stay. It was a lot of glitter, a lot of fallout, unless I use that glitter primer. I had to struggle with what colors to use with, other colors. That was difficulty there. But all in all, I made use of it. And I used that NYX palette to help ground it. So I will be returning the Zodiac palette in Cancer. Okay. I don't know how I got that on there. Yeah, it smudges off. It's recent. Okay, let's move over to the lippies. I pulled quite a few lippies from this beautiful shade here in Dior. It's a Dior 785. I enjoyed wearing that. And I pulled a couple of, what is this one called? Milani. I think I had two Milanis. Yeah, two Milanis. Actually, I had three Milanis, which I did get use out of. I think they were perfect warm shades, almost to me like that Milani palette that I pulled. It just maybe was a little too warm at sometimes. Just my opinion. I also pulled in L'Oreal Infallible. I really love in L'Oreal's Infallibles. This one, though, was a gloss, and I had to reapply it during the day, unlike the other one I usually use. But I like it. The Stila I didn't use too much. I did get some use out of it. The Believe Beauty was a little light on me. I definitely had to use a liner with this. But it is pretty. I had to go light-handed with that. And this one by e.l.f., it is, what is the name of this one? It is called Touch of Berry. Very pretty. I definitely like the Touch of Berry. It's on the top there. I definitely like that shade. That I would love to pull again. And my favorite of all the lip products for the month of July was the Cancer Lip Gloss by Wet n Wild. It's their Color Icon formula. Just gorgeous. I love how the tube looks white. It looks like a frosty white, but when you put it on, it comes off a pinkish shade. Just gorgeous. Just a bit of luxury, in my opinion, for little cost. Nothing. It just costs little to nothing, but very pretty. Actually, all three of those were my favorite colors for this month of July. I liked all of those. And I used the lip liner from MAC. I'm not sure if this is cork or what, but I did use that. And to get into blushes, my favorite product, other than the Wet n Wild and these other two lippies, was this Sweet Cheeks by NYX. It is in a matte formula, and it just was perfect on my cheeks. I felt like I got the perfect color without any shimmer or glitter or highlighting. It was just perfect when I wanted a neutral cheek with just a bit of color to my cheeks. I am putting it away. I'm returning it, but I would love to keep it out, but I have so many others to try. The Lancome, I really liked it, but I just felt like it was a little too deep for this time of the year. Again, I think that's a running trend in this review here. A couple of the things, like I said, the Milani palette, some of the Milani colors, and this cheek product, which is a cheek. It is an eyelid and lip product. It can be used three ways. Just ran too warm for me for this time of the year for some reason. At least they didn't mix well, I don't think, with the Cancer palette. The Cancer palette was just kind of moody and light and shimmery, and these things were deep and a little shimmery to me. So I think, yeah, I'll put this away, but I will not put a yellow sticker on it because I do want to pull this back out. I'm totally excited about this. I do want to pull it back out in the fall and winter. And I had one other blush, and it was by NARS here, at least one other single blush, and it does have shimmer on it. I did use it on occasion when I went out some. We had a couple of birthdays this month, and I did make use of it for that. It's a very pretty color, and it brightens up your cheeks really nice. You can't go wrong with a NARS blush. They make wonderful blushes. And I did have more blushes in this BH Blushing in Bali palette. As you know, it's a highlight and blush palette, and I loved it, especially down towards the end here. These colors on the end, I'd say the pomegranate and the ember were very beautiful. I did use those, especially when I went out. And then I found that the middle color, coral, which usually I like corals, it seemed a little light on me. Maybe it's better for the winter or spring. And the Sun-Kissed, which is in the middle, worked very well. I never got to the far end, but this end here I did okay with. I did extremely well with the far end. So those were the end of the blushes that I use and the highlight. And I had one palette in the for contour, and I used the Tarteist Contour by Tarte times Makeup Shayla. And I like this because it is a matte and a powder contour palette. It's not a cream, so it works well for summer. And I only have 2 powder contour palettes, so I feel like I want to keep this one in my stash for now, keep it in my drawer and use it until it's gone. I have one other, and like I said, and it's from, I think it's by Black Radiance. So I want to use this up and then use that one next, and when I'm done with all the powder contour palettes, I will purchase something else. But for now, this will stay in my drawer. And I did not mention this mascara when I was talking about the other mascara that I wore. I did shop for the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara. I just did not like using this. This was more of a pain than anything else, so I will call this the least favorite product for this month's Shop My Stash. It's very hard to get the wand back into the tube, and it's annoying and it's time consuming, so I just will get this out of my stash altogether. So I will declutter this, and there we go. The stuff.